Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Roundtable Podracers. We are the Podracers, Roundtable Podracers, and we're here to talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 11, The Heiress. And with me, as always, we have Miss Julie
Hello.
and Miss Anna.
Hello there.
And
I
of course,
know.
I'm Alexis, and thank you guys for joining us. And we're going to talk all about that Mandalorian episode, The Heiress. So let's get right into it.
Wow.
So the very
I'm
first
so
shot we
excited.
see is what we saw from the trailer, actually, of the season 2
Mhm.
trailer, where the Razor Crest is just absolutely banged up and just limping through space, especially. Yeah, we see the planet of Trask, which is the planet that, as we lead up to the story, the frog lady's trying to get her frogs, her frog babies
Egg.
frog eggs to the water planet, and the Mandalorian is helping her out. And I like how we get the kind of still that road trip vibes with Frog Lady, and how they start landing on this planet, basically crash landing, if you will.
Yeah. A
And it
bumpy
was
landing for sure.
yeah, it's kind of cool, where Frog Lady's like helping out Mandalorian. He's like, grab that and hold on to that. And for a second, I thought Baby Yoda, or the child, was going to sneak in a little extra snack.
I thought so too, and I was
Me
like,
too.
no. I also like that we were like super right about like our call of saying that it was going to be like leading into that next shot
Mhm.
that we all like thought it was going to lead into the opening decrepit, like we're trying to get there.
Right.
And it was so continuous. Like it went from the episode to the episode. And so it's gonna be like how we saw in Clone Wars with the Siege of Mandalore, and that it was just like a smooth transition.
Yeah.
From
pretty
one
cool.
episode to the next.
Which I really appreciate that aspect, because in the last season we didn't really get that, and so it's kind of cool that we're not missing any step of the way this time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So the Razor Crest is burning upon re-entry. I like this. I like these crash landings that we've been seeing. The Razor Crest gets no breaks at all. that ship is just the hardest working ship in the galaxy right now.
For real. I love that it went like, oh, you think it's gonna land perfectly, like,
right?
Ooh, how the hell did he do it? And then bloop,
Boom,
like,
it goes into the water.
And then the girl's like screaming at him, saying like, "You need to slow down! You need to slow down!
slow down, Razor Crest, slow down." And if I don't know if you guys caught it, but on the controls, there was a little bit of Aurebesh there. I wish I had my notes, but there was some meaning behind those Aurebesh. I think it actually connected to something NASA did.
Oh wow!
There's a famous quote from NASA that it was actually in Aurebesh on his screen.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool. I always like looking at the Aurebesh and trying to figure out what it says and stuff. Apologies, I don't have what it actually says, but it's always nice to have these little kind of tidbits, thrown in there.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or even so we see the Razor Crest being pulled away from the water, and that's a refurbished walker.
Yeah, it looks like an AT-AT.
Yeah, it was a refurbished AT-AT. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that was, and it had the same sounds and everything. We were like, my husband was like, "Is that a walker?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's half a walker, half a crane looking thing." It's pretty cool.
I said the same thing, and Rick was like, "Oh, like good eye, yeah, like good job." I'm like,
and what's interesting about that is that George, obviously the AT-ATs are from Empire Strikes Back, but George Lucas, his inspiration for AT-ATs were the cranes in like I think San Diego Bay or one of these cities. So it's actually kind of funny how it's going back to that, like almost like the roots, of the inspiration of the original AT-AT. So that's actually pretty cool. There was actually two. There was the one that pulled out the ship, and then there was another one in the back. So it's kind of nice to see that nice little play. And then they and then you have the Mon Cala Mari. That's like oh, what am I gonna do with this?
And he's all like,
like
he's not gonna make it. Like, and the sweater, it reminded me of Knives Out.
Yes.
And
Me
I was
too.
like, wait a second. Good,
Yeah.
little call to Ryan Johnson. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we were talking about that the puppeteer for the nostril thingies was Janina Eden Verso. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
very,
so cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see the Lucasfilm costume department go to JCPenney for some of their costumes.
I know. I saw that they posted the link, and yesterday I noticed that it was sold out.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Crazy. The sweater is sold out. I'm like, I mean, I didn't get my chance. I totally was gonna buy it. But that was really cool.
So they land on the docks, and you definitely get that kind of Boston, maybe New England, Maine lobster, dock worker vibes with this, and it's always really cool. I really like how the show's kind of showing like, and this is just another example of that, of like showing like just the regular folk and seeing day-to-day life on these random planets that aren't like a galactic, importance. So we have Frog Lady, and she gets reunited with Frogman, which I'm relieved that it happened so fast. I was kind of expecting them to maybe go out to further into the planet to find the husband, to find Mr. Frogman. So I was actually relieved that it was just like right away. Oh, there he is. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, don't drag it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I got totally teary-eyed with their reunion because it was just so
Her
sweet.
Smile.
Yeah, and just like the touching his face and their little forehead touch. I was like, this is so cute and sad.
That was so sweet. And him kind of like hugging the babies and kind of being like proud daddy that they made it.
It was so sweet.
So awesome.
I enjoyed seeing there was a meme that I saw is like still a better love story than Twilight.
Romance between dogs.
Yeah.
And so then we see some of these shots from the trailer that we recognize, where we see this mysterious person watching the Mandalorian and the baby and the child, and then actually that shot that of him kind of looking at whatever it is and then looking up at the Mandalorian. It was like like the way the trailer kind of cuts it, you think that he's reacting to this unknown person. But it's actually him reacting to the eggs being like, it's almost like, do you think they noticed that a few are gone? Like, kind of like,
do you think I can have one more?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, I kind of definitely got some daddy.
Yeah.
Kind of has.
I will say that we've been pretty right so far about most of our theories for this season. But this episode was the one episode that so far, all of our theories for this episode were like completely off.
Thrown out the window.
Yeah, which I'm kind of happy about, but we'll get into that. Like I'm happy with how it turned out more than how we theorized it. So.
Right.
Yes, and now I feel kind of silly not thinking about who it was because well, we'll get to that part.
Yeah,
but we'll see a lot of this in Clone Wars of like, the shadow kind of spying. And I'm like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, it makes total sense. But yeah, we can get to that part.
Yeah. So frog vibes aside, then we get
vibes.
Yeah. The Frogman says, hey, it's you're gonna want to find someone over there, like in the inn. So they go to the inn, which we see again in the trailer, and then Din and baby the child have a seat, and he gets a bowl of chowder for the child, which is, it was kind of like, are you gonna really pay for that? It doesn't look like that good.
And
I mean, I don't eat seafood. I can. I'm super allergic. They'll kill me. But I was like, no, that's disgusting.
Also, it reminded me of like everything we were saying about the last episode, that like it was just another tie-in to Aliens with the face hugger.
Yes.
Right.
And so it was like the next evolution.
Yeah, it's just like Alien, but every episode is like an Alien reference, I swear.
Yes.
But to be fair, every episode does have a lot of pop culture references in there. So
definitely,
I'm kind of not surprised. So then we see the Mon Calamari server, give the baby food, and then he offers, or Din offers to trade for the information. So he gives him, I guess, the Mon Cala squiggly. I forgot what they're called.
Like
I think
the
they're actually called
money.
flan. I think they're called flan.
Yeah, the flan. Which they sound so squishy. Like,
yeah, it's like
like squishy toys.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what kind of money is this?
Yeah. So then the Mon Cala Amari calls over his Quarren buddy, and he basically says, yeah, there have been others with Beskar that have passed through here, and I'll take you to them. And the very first red flag is that they said, yeah, I'll take you out or whatever, and then the Quarren's like, like that's not a good sign when someone's making a deal with you and they evilly laugh right after, like in front of you.
Yeah, the Quarren on this episode, they were just like such a bad guys. Like they were like, it's cool to see alien looking creatures look like that mean. And there were a lot of them, which is the first time I've seen so many. They just look so bad. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole like Quarren and Mon Calamari, like I feel like that was really established in like the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The Mon Calamari are on the rebel side. They're rebel high command, and then the Quarren, the very first Quarren we ever see, I believe, is in Jabba's palace. So you kind of always I think it was associated
also in a video game.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that like the start of it, and then obviously after that, the Clone Wars like went into that whole episode with on Mon Cala, the whole war between the Mon Calamari and Quarren. So I'm not surprised that the Quarren are the bad guys in this, because they kind of always been the bad guys and other stuff. So so he charts a boat, and they're on a boat. Which is actually kind of cool, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but that boat looks like one of the ships that were actually from the Rogue One, which you actually do see in Rise of Skywalker, which are like the hammerheads. They call them hammerheads, which they were actually originally from KOTOR, as a matter of fact. But I digress. So this one looks like it's like half of it, actually. So it looks like it's half of it, and I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like they like scooped
rebuild
everything out,
it,
like refurbished it again.
Repurposed it, and I was like, man, that looks like a ship, and turns out it actually is a ship.
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
a
real ship, like a flying ship.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like we see the trend still of the Mon Calas kind of being good engineers, because that's how I like when we see it in Rebels, and it's like, okay, he invented that B-wing, was it, if I'm not wrong. And then this guy is like, okay, I'll see what I can do about building. And then I noticed the same thing with the Rogue One ship. And I was like, okay, this is very influenced with what we have seen. And these people are really good at repair and refurbish, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So then we're on the boat, and dun dun dun, the Quarren betray the crew, and right when he hits the child into the mama cores, like,
oh my god,
I was like,
my heart,
mine too.
I didn't expect that. I was like surprised and then immediately enraged, like, what? You better like shove that thing down the guy's throat or something.
Yeah, I was like, can Baby Yoda even swim? Like, how is this what's gonna happen right now?
Yeah, I was like, can he close that like real fast so that he can be like in his own oxygen? I mean, he's also a creature, like, I don't know, there's so many thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's very cool. And then the pram kind of closes up, and right when it was closing up, I'm like, okay, he's gonna get saved, because we've seen this in the last, like, in the first episode of the season where Mando gets swallowed. So swallowing doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna die. So I was like, okay, closed up, all right, cool.
Yeah, look at Boba.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, yeah, I've never hated Quarrens as much as I did
in that moment
in this sequence. Yeah, they were just like stabbing them. I'm just like, oh man. And it was like a real sense of desperation, like drowning. And then on top of that, you're getting like spiked by these evil guys. And it was definitely a awesome, intense moment.
Yeah.
But it's not what we thought. Well, what I originally thought was we were going to get something kind of along the lines of that comic, you know, where Luke was in the same situation and stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't get out of it himself. He got saved by
Dun, dun,
Bo
dun.
Katan.
Bo Katan and the Night Owls,
That was so insane. Oh my god.
making her live action debut. Katie
Dude,
Sackhoff, who voiced the character in the Clone Wars, has
And Rebels.
actually and Rebels. Excuse me. Yes, finally playing the character, and this is probably the first time we've seen this. I mean, we've seen characters make the jump from cartoon or animation, I should say, to live action. Which was Saw Gerrera, which was the very first one. So, but yeah, this is the very first time that we have the person who voiced the character actually play it. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. Like that shot of like them flying into the ship and like everything is so fast. So you're like, you see something, but you don't see it. And then like the close up to her helmet, I got chills. I was screaming. I was like, oh my God. I was watching it with friends that don't watch Clone Wars. So they were all thinking I was crazy. But it was just like the best moment for me of the series so far.
And like, yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite moments too. And I feel like I wasn't expecting her because like we had talked about that we both thought the shadowed figure was going to be Sabine. So when I saw the jetpacks coming in, I was like, it's her, it's Sabine. And then I got the 1-2 whammy and it was instead Bo Katan. And I was still just as hyped up and excited because I wasn't expecting her to be in this episode. And oh my God, did she look amazing.
Yeah, they looked awesome. And actually, it looks like it was a private armorer or someone who actually built the Night Owls, or the female ones, so Bo Katan and Casca.
Wait, but the Night Owls are only female, so the other guy is pretty technically Death Watch.
You see that I'm not 100% clear on, because I'm assuming if he's with them,
only the sisters, so it's only girls.
I thought the guy was that guy with Bo Katan in Clone Wars or Rebels. Wasn't that her like right-hand man?
No, Night Owls are only girls, and in Rebels she was with. I'm blanking on the name guy, but it's not him.
It's not him.
No,
you mean Pre Vizsla.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Death Watch.
Right.
But I thought I saw the kind of like the Death Watch sigil on his, or am I making it because I want to see everything like how I want to see him?
I didn't pay attention too much to if it was on him or not. I just was honestly throughout all of this, Bo Katan was pretty cool, but I actually spent the entire episode from here on thinking that was Sabine.
There were moments that I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I am happy it's not, because I thought okay, you guys know Sabine is my favorite character, and I think this actress was really cool, but I was not vibing with the her being Sabine thing that we were thinking, because I was like, I think Sabine would look a lot more colorful, I guess is a good word to choose for her. And this actress, she's from the WWE, right? I forgot her name.
Yeah, Sasha Banks. But the character is Casca Reeves.
Right, Casca Reeves. I felt like her look and personality fit who she played way more than it would have fit Sabine. So now I'm kind of like, I just hope Sabine is in this season as like a little Easter egg when we see her later on. Maybe. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, honestly, to me, I'm just like, why the hell that wasn't that Sabine? Because she fit. I mean, this is just one of those kind of headcanon and just like projecting what you want, more than what actually reality is. And to me, everything just kind of lines up perfectly for that to be Sabine. She kind of has the complexion. She literally looks just like her. I mean, again, I spent the entire episode.
more like Asian looking a little bit.
Yeah, for me, I don't think, to be honest, the hairstyle for me is the one that threw me off.
Me too. Like
right?
the cross. Yeah, like I think her hairstyle was awesome, but again, not for Sabine. Sabine has the dyed colored hair.
Yeah.
Short hair too from the last time we saw her. But yeah, Alexis.
I think we lost Alexis.
Yeah.
Oh,
there he is. We lost you for a second, Alexis.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
good.
so sorry if we spoke over you or like didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. So just kind of like just one more thing on the whole Casca not being Sabine. It's just the last time we see Bo Katan, she's with Sabine and with the whole dark saber above the head. Not including the epilogue that we see with
right. That's
Sabine,
what I was gonna say.
That canonically we don't, the last time we see Sabine is with Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, Julie, we may see Sabine with Ahsoka. Honestly,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Either well, we're gonna get into that probably next show, but anyway, so yeah, I was just like, why the hell? And since she didn't have too many speaking lines and stuff like that, I was just like, I was generally confused. I'm like, why is she not talking more? Why didn't she say, hey, I'm Sabine or whatever? But obviously it is what it is. But I was actually a little bit like disappointed. I'm like, it didn't take away too much for me because again, Bo Katan is a prominent figure and just her being there is a big deal, and pushes the story forward. But I was just like, why? What? But anyways, I think that's just my personal gripes.
I think what you said is actually a really good point as to why it's not Sabine. Like Bo Katan is such a prominent figure that it might have, like, her and Sabine might have overshadowed each other being in the same episode. So that won't be the case, I think, if Sabine is with Ahsoka, just because that is where we last saw her. So the moment that this girl took her helmet off, I knew it wasn't Sabine, just because of the dyed hair. Yeah. So I'm happy it's not. I was also disappointed it wasn't her, just because I got to see my girl. But I was also happy it wasn't, because again, like, I felt like she didn't really fit the physical description of Sabine, and then I thought her personality fit way better for this new character that she played, the Casca.
Yeah, kind of like not talking too much and just like
being like more of like a hard ass. Yeah.
And what for me made it like not Sabine is the armor.
Yeah,
for me, I think Sabine is so proud of her clan, her family,
and her originality.
I don't think she would have gone from Clan Ren to being a night owl. That was like, okay, it's not. But then for me, it made sense, and it's kind of like what I was mentioning before when we saw like Sasha Banks with Casca shadow and like in her hood kind of spying on Mando, because it's the same thing that we noticed in Clone Wars in the last season when Bo Katan is spying on Ahsoka with Sabine's mom. But so that was like, oh, I did not think about that. That makes total sense. Obviously, the thing is, like, with the other shots, we saw them kind of like with the hood and with the helmet. Since she was not with the helmet, we didn't realize it. They tried to trick us.
And for a minute I was like, did Sabine go blue? Like all blue? Like what? That doesn't. I also just don't think that Sabine would ever paint her armor to match anybody specifically.
Yeah.
I think she's so like, I'm gonna do what I want. Like, I'll be a part of your faction, but like, I'm me still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I looked at the shot of Axe, which is the guy, and he doesn't have the night owl sigil.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. It says that he's actually just a Mandalorian, that he's like a human male Mandalorian who's just with them, I think.
My theory, I think he was part of the Death Watch, and maybe when the whole thing of them separating, he kind of followed Bo Katan, because there was a lot of male Death Watch people that follow Bo Katan when she separated and Jon Favreau and Mandalorian was killed. So
Previous,
but I know like the night owls are like all females, so I was like, oh,
okay.
Can I ask, does the night owl have anything to do with Ahsoka's owl? Like, did they name themselves that because of, I forgot the name of her. You would know.
A convoy?
Yeah. Oh, it's never mind. Okay, it's a convoy. Never mind.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not an owl. I
Right,
know.
okay.
I thought, for when I watched Clone Wars the first time and I saw Bo Katan, I thought it was gonna be. But then when you watch the daughter and she has the
Right.
convoy, it's different. So, but yeah. But then they're all cursing. Dank Ferric.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my new
I was.
curse word now.
I
I'm totally using
know.
that in regular life.
It reminded me of like the Carabas from Rebels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, I see what you're
Carabast,
doing there.
for
I
That's
sure.
like
a
it. I
really cool
like it.
touch.
For sure.
Mhm.
And it's actually not the first time we heard that. I think it was the
No.
very first episode of the series. The Mithril guy says Dank Ferric. And
And
then
Cara Dune,
Cara Dune says it as well. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I guess,
Mhm.
the running gag.
the Carabas of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But
So then
yeah,
we get
Bo-Katan.
into the actual dialogue, and we finally get a little bit more on Mando or Din Djarin's kind of like origin, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, and
I gotta say that I totally forgot that he was brought in by Death Watch until this episode. Like I know we've seen Death Watch in the show, but for some reason my brain didn't connect the whole like rivalry in Mandalore and the whole Clone Wars arc until like this episode and that they split. And I was like, oh, duh. Like, yeah.
yeah, I'm still not 100%. I mean, even with her explaining it, it's just in the timeline, it just kind of doesn't make sense to me, really. Because if all this happened during the Clone Wars, if Din was rescued, technically Bo was still a part of Death Watch at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't until that Maul ends up getting in the whole
Taking
mix
over.
that is when they kind of split off. So it's like I it's kind of hard to wrap my head around Din not knowing who Bo is and Bo not knowing, maybe not the other way around either, because he was just a kid and she was the leader, so she may not be, but the fact that he doesn't know who she is kind of weird. It just doesn't match up to me.
For me, I think that it's probably people that wanted to recreate Death Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And after the whole thing with the mall, they wanted to, let's go back to creating Death Watch and like being a follower of Mandalore, which is the Mandalorian that had like the dark saber first that we've seen in some comics, and kind of the ones that were really not taking the helmets, kind of doing the Asian way, which is what she mentioned. That's what I was thinking.
Wait,
but I'm not
so
100%.
let me just understand what you're saying. So you're saying that within Death Watch there was like another sect, like almost like Death Watch split
Because
into.
when we see Death Watch in Clone Wars, they're like a big population, right? They when we see in the first one with Lux, was it
Right, right,
right?
right.
There were a huge community that were taking over different little villages,
Right.
right? But we don't see the same amount of people in the Siege of Mandalore, or the before the Siege of Mandalore, and kind of one previous law joins with Maul. So I don't know if maybe there's people that did not follow him and kind of like just stayed on another side of Mandalore. I'm
Mhm.
overcomplicating this, so I'm
Yeah,
not
it
sure.
just doesn't make sense, because this to me had to have happened before that happened, that whole arc in Clone Wars,
Mandalore?
because yeah, the whole Mandalore arc, because in that flashback they're fighting B2 battle droids, and
Mhm.
and from my understanding, the Confederacy didn't invade Concord Dawn. So I think it's kind of like what you're saying, Anna, that maybe it was just like within Death Watch itself on Concord Dawn, there have to have been just this rogue sect. That's the only thing that makes sense. This rogue sect that went to, like you said, tried to revive the ancient ways, and then they went to a different planet, and then and then they were attacked on that planet, and that's where Death Watch saved him.
Yeah.
It's
Or
just
maybe they were recruiting more people on the other side of Mandalore.
okay.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Jin was not raised with. I mean, he wasn't raised on Mandalore. Like he wasn't brought up. So my feeling is that was during Clone Wars and maybe around the same time as the Siege, and so maybe there was like a faction of Death Watch or Death Watch as a whole that like had these ways, and then when the purge happened, which we still don't really know too much about, maybe Death Watch shifted their ideology to like make Mandalore live kind of through themselves. And then so he was raised in the Clone Wars era, but really raised after like in the purge era. So that might be why he thinks he has to wear the helmet all the time, and they have these other things, these other ideologies.
Yeah, it's confusing. Or maybe Previously was the rogue one that took kind of like his own little people, and it's like, hey guys, let's take over Satine. I don't know. But it's just interesting how she said it.
Yeah,
like, you are the child of the watch.
Yeah,
because and it's funny because you talk to people that haven't watched Clone Wars,
and it sounds like Game of Thrones.
Freak out every time somebody takes off their helmet, which I find fascinating that there's these two views of Mandalores. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because Mike asked me the same thing. He was like, "Oh, so Bo Katan's not a Mandalorian, right? Because she took off her helmet." And I was like, "Whoa, there, buddy.
We talk about Mandalorians. Yeah, she's like right up here.
She's the Mandalorian."
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I'm so glad that we got this, because this is kind of something we've been theorizing, and that's just been like regular theorizing. It's like what is this, the new way and the old way? So it's really cool to see like a really authority of Mandalorian culture against what the Mandalorian culture is for the show, and it's showing the clash of that. But yeah, I mean, she says it in a way that it's like almost like she feels sorry for,
and like it's a cult. She mentioned it.
She says it. She's like as like religious zealots. So it's like, I'm sorry that this happened to you, but that's not how it is. I'm sorry, you were lied to. But
I like Mando.
Yeah, I like that he like accepted it too. That he was very like, oh, okay, you are a Mandalorian, cool. Like he wasn't super like at first he was very like, but then he was like really accepting of it as the episode like progresses.
Right. So so he blasts off, and he's like, you guys are heretics and all this stuff. So he gets jumped by the Quarrens. Again, and the Mandalorians come to save him again, which is kind of cool because it was kind of like a little dark in there, like he didn't kill your brother, I did. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah,
like okay.
I love that it's her. Like she, first of all, yes, it's the same actress, so it makes a difference 100%, and that's why some part of me wishes Ashley can be playing Ahsoka next episode. But like it's her, like. It's the Bo Katan we know. Like she is ready for battle. She's a total badass. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. And
so they buy him a drink. They buy him a drink, and then just more of this clash of Mandalorian information, and it was really interesting to hear the Mandalorian say that Mandalore is cursed. And don't believe everything you hear is what she tells them.
I also really, excuse me, I really like that this was established with Bo Katan, because if Sabine is in this season later on, I feel like if it was Sabine that he had first met, it would have been like a huge clash because of her personality and like attire. So
it's just way out there.
Right. So I think when he does meet Sabine now, he will be a lot more like understanding of the situation and everything.
Right.
So well, and like always, Mando doesn't get anything for free or easy. So she was like, what do you know of the Jedi? It was very interesting how she sensed it like that. And that also made me think is that she didn't consider Ahsoka a Jedi in the last part of her missions with her. So it was cool because like, okay, we'll have a mission and it's this, we're taking over this ship and blah, blah, blah. And the next thing is just so cool.
Yeah.
Like, the next scene, the whole episode. But yeah.
Right.
Alexis, you're better at summarizing what happened.
So basically, Sabine kind of recruits him
Katan.
you help me out, I help you out. I'll tell you where the Jedi is. But the first part is like she's saying that, oh, help me get the weapons, right?
Mhm.
So they they start hatching the plan. They do a little recon, which was really cool. I definitely got Clone Wars vibes when they're all like in the shipyard, kind of scoping out this Imperial Gazanti class cruiser, which, by the way, we've seen it in the Phantom Menace.
And Rebels.
And Rebels as well. So again, more of the old
Mhm.
stuff bringing into the new show. And yeah, just really cool. Just kind of scoping out, and they decide what their plan is gonna be, and then yeah, the heist. So we finally get to the action sequence, which was awesome. The way they storm that ship and just take care of everybody quick.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Her
yeah,
showing
I
her
love it.
knife.
Yeah, that thing was so
Really
cool.
Very
Just
cool.
like the dynamic workings between the Axe Woves, Casca and
Awesome.
Bo Katan, and like the way they worked, and also the way they flowed with Mando and his different style I thought that was super cool. It reminded me,
fearless.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of like the Bad Batch a little bit, how they each had like their own like special skills a little bit within their tiny little group.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah, definitely different than obviously Mando's style, because it's
Mhm.
more of like solo, like just like balls to the wall type, and they're all just like working in unison. My choreographer heart was just like, loving this. Like,
Yeah,
Same.
I
me too.
love this, dude. It's just like throwing the gauntlet and then the rope and then like everything. I love it.
Mhm.
So anyway, so they board the Gazanti class freighter, and which is more of the shots that we saw from the season 2. So it wasn't an actual base, but it was a ship.
Right.
And you get the klaxon sirens, and then yeah, all the stormtroopers trying to fight off the Mandalorians, and
Not working.
how many Mandos is it? It's 10, sir.
10.
And it's like 4.
I loved the part where they were like, we trapped them, sir, like we're in the cargo bay or whatever, and then he's just like, you're in the where? I love
his whole demeanor was awesome. Like, he was so serious, but like also so scared.
Yeah,
so trying to be like, oh, okay, this is my last day on Earth. I'm just gonna live with it.
he played an amazing Imperial captain. Like,
yeah,
he was like, I almost got a little disappointed at the end because I was like, darn, like he was really cool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I would have liked to see him again.
Me too.
Someone said this guy has played a better Imperial than Hux did in like all the 3 movies.
Yikes.
I love
It's
Hux.
true though. He was like an awesome, like you
Yes.
were just saying, he's like a
He
perfect
was.
or was, right? It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
he had
was
the
just
perfect
awesome.
demeanor for an empire.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just like how they're using all these like famous actors like to like play these kind of minor roles.
The small roles, yeah. It's very
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like most of the actors doing this. Like, I don't care. It's like me. Look, Lucasfilm or anything. I could be an ugly super alien in the background where I just die in the last 2 seconds. That's fine. I don't care.
I could be a stormtrooper who says, and that's it. I'd be happy.
But yeah, no, it was really cool. And then kind of you got to put some tea on it because we're taking over the whole ship.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of going over and taking that, and Mando was like, wait, that's not part of the plan, but this is Bo Katan. So
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Yeah. Do you guys think that was her plan all along?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right? Okay. I thought so too.
The way the other two kind of looked
just
at
like,
each other.
well, this is the way. I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
snappy.
that was like slap in your face.
Yeah.
when she was saying actually about the tea, it was actually interesting because that tea apparently is important in Mandalorian culture. Again, kind of getting from, I'm sure George Lucas got from
the Asian vibes.
From Asian, right? From Japan, Japanese and Chinese cultures, where tea's super important, especially when you're meeting another dignitary or someone of importance. You always set the tea. So when she said that, it was like, okay, all right,
like
a little Clone Wars, in there. So yeah, that was just Awesome. Oh, and actually, I wanted to say that the Imperial officer, not the captain, but the other guy who's like, close the blast doors, close the blast doors. He's actually a comedian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He looked familiar.
The one that was
to me.
super nervous.
Yeah. He was like hiding or whatever.
Character.
I can't remember his name, but he's also a comedian too. So I just wanted to throw that out there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like he was like the first day in the job.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, where did I get myself into?" Like this, it was so funny.
I felt very similar, yeah. Or like he was like he mentally was so prepared for all of this, and he was like, "Yeah, I could totally take on rebels. I'm one of the best captains there is in the Empire." But then when it like push comes to shove, he's like, "Ah, don't shoot me, I'm fine."
Yeah.
Close the blast doors. Close all of them. It's just like losing his stuff.
I loved it. But yeah, the whole sequence was really great. And then when all the stormtroopers were on the other side and they pulled out the big guns, I was really excited because I learned through playing some of the older Star Wars video games that those big guns, like, it's always the meme that stormtroopers like miss their shots, but apparently those big guns are just like they're heavier blasts, I guess, and they can like shoot faster. So that's why like it's like you substitute aim for those two things.
Yeah.
And I guess when you have like a whole big number of stormtroopers shooting at you, you know, you don't really care about the aim because everybody's shooting at you. But it definitely was important, and they obviously lost.
As always.
As always.
But it was cool that we finally saw Moff Gideon in the season.
And in a hologram.
And a hologram. I don't know what it is about the holograms, but I go crazy I love seeing that for some reason. In Solo, going back to Solo, the hologram that Lando had in there, awesome. This hologram, awesome. Like
this hologram,
I love looking. I love the way they look.
Yeah, this hologram reminded me of like the one that we see Vader in, what is it? Yes. Return of the Jedi. Empire. And that was so.
Yeah, we're
it
seeing
brought me
small
back.
stuff. Yeah,
it's small Vader. That was so cool.
Definitely got.
He's pretty much like, yeah, he's pretty much like, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what
the
to
same
do.
pirates. They call him pirates. I'm like, Hondo. It's not Hondo.
I know. I thought that too.
Pirates. Yeah. Which kind of alludes to apparently this has been going on. And I guess it all ties into what Bo wants. But it was interesting to hear that it's like, oh, the pirates that attacked our other vessels. Yeah, we believe it's the same one. So Bo's been a thorn in Moff's side for a while. Apparently.
Which makes sense. She wants her baby back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which we get to the scene, right, that they finally make it to the bridge, and Bo gets a little bit dark sidey.
Which is okay.
Bo gets Bo. Bo gets Bo.
I like it. No, I like it. I'm all for it.
I love it. Well, but before that, because we can't not mention Mando taking it on for the team.
Yeah,
because he was like,
oh man, how could I forget? Yeah, man,
that scene was
going
like,
full Leroy Jenkins
for real. And it's crazy because, like, first of all, how did he not get shot once?
Well, that's what I was talking about. It was those freaking guns that they all busted out.
We know it's the weapons,
but also they suck.
And that's all
that's literal plot armor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So that scene was so cool because he's just going down and my heart is sinking faster and faster, and like he took one for the team, and it's like it shows Mando's character. Like, I don't even know you. I'm not even sure if you guys are Mandalorian. Like, I want to believe it. I don't know. But here I'm gonna take one for the team because I'm so like I need to get to the Jedi.
Yeah. I love that scene was great. And then they go into the bridge, like Alexis said, and then Bo Katan is like, "Where is my Darksaber?"
Darksaber.
And the best reply. If you're asking, then you already know, or something along those lines. I'm like, oh, gangsta.
So it's like, okay, so they met, so they know each other, so they probably battled.
Right.
How do you beat Bo Katan?
Right.
What the hell did you do?
Yep.
Also, how did you beat her without killing her and take her saber? Like, how did this all happen?
But did you guys notice, or was it me? She has a scar on her face.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
That's she had that same scar in Clone Wars. I don't know
Oh,
how
she
she got it. Maybe in one of those particular episodes she must have got it, but by the time of the Siege of Mandalore, she already has that scar.
Yeah, well, I have to go back because I didn't
Yeah.
notice it so well, and then I noticed it on my 2nd
Mhm.
watching. I was like, "Wait a second, you have an Anakin scar right there."
Yeah.
So, well, if she had it before, then I thought it
Yeah,
was gonna be
she
more
had
pretty.
it. Yeah, I don't know if that's how we saw her, how we were introduced to her with that scar. I mean, I don't remember ever seeing her with a gash over her head in the actual series, but for sure by the time of Siege of Mandalore, she has it. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, just mimicking the character too well.
Yeah, freaking eye for detail. That's what this show has, an eye for detail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Long live the Empire. And yeah,
And
he
then
basically
stabs himself.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell was that?
This is basically the space cyanide pill. The Star Wars version of the cyanide pill.
Maybe
poison.
Emperor Palpatine like gave them all like death pills with his little like force lightning. If I can't kill you, you kill you.
Which was it was kind of a little Return of the Jedi kind of callback, actually, now that you guys mentioned the Emperor. In Return of the Jedi, when Vader gets electrocuted, you can see his skull and you can kind of see everything or whatever. And yeah, you see the same thing with the captain. For like a split second, you see like his skull kind of light up. So that was a callback to Return of the Jedi.
Craziness. Whoa. Yeah. And then Bo was like, "Are you sure? You don't want to come with us?" And he's like, "No."
So the ship's going down.
Yes.
Ship's going down because the captain said, "Hey, this ship's going down with me." Captain goes down with the ship, right? So, he tries to make it nosedive to the planet, and then as you said, Bo Katan's like, "No, this is our ship. We're taking this bad boy."
Yeah, and so Mando and Casca, which shows a good piloting of her, they put it back to balance it out. And then Bo Katan is talking to Mando, and it's like, "Oh, you sure you don't want to come with us? Okay. Well, I still need to look for the Jedi," and this is where my heart turned into like different pieces. And
then we get the biggest name drop in history
ever.
Yeah.
Go to a planet. So the planet that she actually mentioned, I don't know if it's
in Battlefront.
The planet exactly. Corvus is the name of Iden Versio's ship when she was in the Empire, and when she turned to Rebellion, she used the same ship called the Corvus. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, right away, that's the first thing I thought of. But apparently it exists in Legends. Corvus was like a moon, and there's some things that happen there with like a hegemony. But yes, Corvus, it's not it exists in Star Wars lore. So
cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like you'll find Ahsoka Tano.
And
dude, you guys know that's my favorite. So I died slowly, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't even have to see her."
I know. I lost my shit. I was screaming.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Also, now that I think about it, how do you guys think that Bo Katan knows that Ahsoka is there? Like, are they keeping up with each other?
So that's what I think ties into the whole Sabine conversation. I mean, she's the connecting tissue between Ahsoka and Bo.
Because obviously Bo and Ahsoka like know each other. They've fought together, but I think they probably don't keep up with each other as much as like Sabine might keep up with, especially after the loss of the Darksaber. Like Sabine might even be also on her own like personal mission with Ahsoka, obviously finding Ezra, to just keep a lookout for anything.
Yeah. This was a perfect episode to bridge Mandalorian with Clone Wars and Rebels. I think they did it so nicely.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think that was, for me, this has been like my favorite episode so far.
Yeah,
I say that about every episode, but it was just so good from beginning to end.
And it's kind of funny. You can kind of gauge people's reactions. Like based off of like if they're like a longtime fan or not. Like, when I was like on social media, I had a few replies like saying, "Oh, but it was so short," and it's like,
Yeah.
I could tell then that you didn't watch the previous series or like the Clone Wars or Rebels, because it doesn't matter if it's short. This could have been 10 minutes long. Just with what they've done here, they've gotten new old fans. Okay, they've reinforced the story and they're pushing it in a new direction. And it was just like, it's one of the best episodes for story building in the series.
Yeah,
I agree.
I totally agree.
And a lot of people were complaining about her armor, and I was like, you don't get it.
Get out of here. I want to cosplay her so bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's my next one.
No qualms whatsoever. Bo, the only gripe that I could have seen is, okay, Bo should have been, portrayed a little bit older. She's would have been in her 50s or whatever at this time. But she still looks the same, which I'm not complaining.
Well, I think for me, I feel like she was so young in Clone Wars, and I like her also leaving Mandalore to go to Death Watch and not follow her sister's footsteps made me realize that she was probably younger than we really thought. But there has been not an official confirmation of age.
Yeah.
So for me, she's like almost 40. And man, she gotta look good, You don't know what space things that happen there.
29. She has to be.
Also, we don't really know because we've never gotten confirmation about how age works for any of the races.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just bringing real life stuff into it.
Yeah.
Like, if you are gonna do live action, I would have thought that they would have put in a little bit more, because kind of what you're saying, Anna. Like, even if she was 20 years old, this is 29 years later, so she's 49. Like,
she's looking good, man. Hey, I don't look my age.
Fighting crime and searching for the Darksaber, I guess, keeps you young.
Hey, they told me yesterday I look like a 25-year-old, and I was like, thank you so much. You made my day. I'm not. So, if I can pull it on.
I get asked if I'm still in school all the time. And I'm like, I
mean, Alexis, you don't even look your age. So
yeah, I don't think any of us look our age. It's our Hispanic genes.
Exactly. Maybe she's like a Latino gang. You know?
Yeah. But I had no complaints. I mean, just the nitpicky stuff like that. And actually, we didn't even mention it, but it was kind of funny. And I hate to keep bringing memes into this, but there was a meme that I saw that it was like, the most unrealistic thing about Mandalorian is how quickly the Mandalorian can find a babysitter. And and in this episode, it was Frog Lady, and he's like, "Yeah, here, can you watch him?" Which actually, that part was kind of cool, actually, because he got to see like the eggs hatch and stuff. Yeah, which I was kind of confused, because now that they are like, he would eat them as eggs, and he would eat them as full-grown frogs. So why is it that like a tadpole is like a cute thing that's off limits?
I got you.
He's just like,
you would eat an egg and you would eat a chicken, but would you eat a baby chick?
Okay, valid point.
That's a good one.
Valid point. Yeah, but it was just kind of nice to see, like him, the baby, the child,
and the petting.
Yeah,
and then Mando's saying, "You've pet him enough. It's okay."
Yeah,
like, I don't need any other pet.
Yeah, and just that more of that frog. It's kind of crazy how they got so much emotion with characters that you really don't see their actual face.
But they're puppets, yeah.
And they're puppets. And I was like, man, this is like hit me in the feels right now, like frog love.
Yeah, I loved it, and I thought it was a really good way to end the episode too.
Yeah. And
well, I guess that wasn't the end of the episode. The end of the episode was Mando going back.
Another face hugger, or almost face hugger moment. How he like reaches back and he crushes it, and it's like,
and that the Mon Cala fixed the ship.
All pirated.
I was assuming in the next episode that it was going to show it like running well or something like that, and like somehow the nets were like keeping it intact, but I feel like he just decorated it and that was it.
Yeah. I was like, I really got definitely like actual pirate, like the bottom of a pirate ship, like the lower decks of a pirate ship, like with you side of the nets and like the leaking water. I was loving it, and like little lantern. I feel like they had some like lanterns and stuff. I'm like, I'm all for this pirate episode. I love it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I think we covered the episode.
There's just so much. I mean, there's a lot of that we didn't touch upon. I mean, but yeah, I think we got the gist of it. Awesome. Awesome episode.
Great episode. Oops. So where can we find you guys?
Anna?
Okay, so you guys can find me at Legeeky Life with 2 eyes on Instagram and Facebook. What about you, Alexis?
You guys can find me at Lex287, Lex 287 on Twitter. Lex_Adamus, ADAMES on Instagram, and I'm Alexis Adamus on Facebook. Hit me up and let's talk Star Wars.
Woo! And you guys can find me at Infinity Jewels on Instagram, at Infinity Jewels on _ on Twitter, and also on Facebook without the underscore. Oh my god. And on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Infinity Jewels. And also check out our Facebook page, Roundtable Podracers. I think the link is RT Podracers, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
You'll find it.
Search it up.
Find it in the description anyway.
Yeah, you'll find us. Definitely like us. And if you like the video, give us a like and comment. What was your favorite part of the Pirates episode? I'm just going to keep calling it the pirate episode now.
Yeah, and if you noticed anything we didn't, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you saw some things we didn't or made any connections that we didn't. And until next time, may the force be with you.
This is the way.
Always.
This is the way.